So, hello everybody, how y'all doing? Y'all doing pretty good. So, got another conversation about the energy going forward from this layout again. You know? So what you see before you is a lineup for May 22nd. So basically, what's going on here so my audience could try to stay involved. The last 7-day forecast, if I'm not mistaken, I think I at least went to the 18th or the 19th, right? So I won't really try to bring in so much of like I did last time. So this time around, I decided to select a date in the middle of my 7-day forecast. So the random date that I selected was May 22nd, 2021. Alright. So it's like we walking into the cusp energy, really, right about now. The cusp of Taurus and Gemini. So a little bit of just coming from the cusp point of view, right? We're talking about energy, just on a basic format of the cusp, right? It's a transitional period that involves, let me say it that way, a transitional period that involves assets and liability. You're feeling more like an accountant. You feel the tax season real hard. Okay. You feeling more, I want to say more the assets. And it's different ways. Like, it is bringing up emotions, even though there's a cusp of an air and earth sign, right? But, you know, even though the fire ain't here, humility still could play a role, or some type of form of condensation can come between earth and air. So, you know, nice transitional period, I guess. I'm just trying to say. I'm just bringing it up, trying to bring myself into a current to fast forward at the same time. So that's what my rambling is all about. That's going on. I'm not one of those ones that say a whole lot. Like, whew, just not, I don't know the right word to say. Let me just keep on going, because it's kind of, the moment is feeling good. I'm kind of being in my own way of putting my feet in the water, sitting on the edge of the pool or wherever it might be. I'm going to use a pool for right now, because you have to describe it a little bit different when you go to the beach. When you indulging in the water, you usually got to say something about a pier when you go a little bit to lakes and stuff. So that, you know, the vocabulary is just all about it. But, you know, when I'm talking about the assets of it, it's not necessarily, you know, I'm just talking about from a cusp. So from a cusp point of view, this is a frequency. You know, you got cusp energy frequency that's in its own alone group. Don't get me wrong, other things will still overlap, because it's just all about the genius that's inside of the individual and the geniuses that surrounds the individual, the spirit guides, your angels, whatever it might be, you yourself. You know, I have some friends that give their own self personalities, so, and they have names, so those could be those ones. So it's really whatever that's suitable for you, right? But it's definitely the geniuses. All of y'all have your own perspective of what's an asset in a cusp energy. You know, what is an asset? Meaning, an asset could just simply be relating to a relationship. Maybe you really do want one. Maybe you already in one. And the way that y'all foundation of y'all relationship is, and how y'all are dependent upon each other, y'all both is an asset and a liability, and just shift among the roles. If those roles shift that way, and when they shift that way. Meaning, you're in a relationship, you going out for for dinner. Okay, you see somebody that you don't care for, and this person might be an equal acquaintance to you and your significant other, and they know you don't care for them, and they decide to sit here and make a comment. Okay, once again, the asset and liability is now going to bounce. Because it depends, one, here's the asset. What type of bond do you and that person got? What type of communication bond? Also, that's important, because you can have a bond, but if y'all communication is not on fleet with the bond, y'all going to turn into a liability. Become a debt for one another. Somebody fly off at the wrong place at the wrong time. Become a debt. So, you know, those factors is just there, okay? And being that I'm so descriptive of describing that energy, your creativity is probably the part that should resonate with you, because I like the way my videos set up that way. It's for you to find your independence. Why are we talking about that now? Let me bring up the day I took my daily walk. Rambling, baby. But I'm getting into the energy, don't worry. I'm going to get into the cars. Let's say that. I'm going to get into the cars on how they relate to what's going on with me, because I'm already in the energy, so I'm saying it wrong. I'm going to get into the messages of what I feel that is coming off into this group of cards I have laid out very shortly, okay? We're only 7 minutes in. But just to bring up a point of view, right? I had a conversation with my geniuses today when I was taking my walk. So me and my geniuses was talking about connectivity. In the process of connectivity, it was something very, very funny about our conversation. I'm gonna introduce it to y'all this way, because so you can understand our conversation. So, audience, right? Imagine, right, at this point in time, how much free will is debated, or maybe freedom has been heightened over the past 15 years. We have many movements, the LGBTQ, I don't know, it seemed like it keep getting a letter added on, but right now I'm stopping. Don't mean no disrespect, but really I'm not trying to keep up with the way the trend is going. It's almost like, I don't know if we're going to go put a whole alphabet in it before it's all over with, because people is fighting for an identity, which is a point of freedom, you know, that identity of being able to be in that freedom, and everybody understand, and it's almost like, not only do I want y'all to understand, but I want y'all to adapt to these letters so you don't have to feel alone. We have the Black Lives Movement. People make funny acronyms on it all the time. So what I'm trying to say, within the past 15 years, we have had an outstanding thing of a movement of freedom. You got the 400 years of the freedom of the slaves. That was very hot market up here. You got the Saturns that's in terrible land. You got the reptiles. We got to get rid of these species off this planet. We have a entertaining platform in freedom. Now, in the thing of it, what is something that's connected to free will that answers all our questions at one time? The word Wi-Fi. Never did I imagine, and you know, it takes me to the understanding that we also, you know, somewhere, if it's not in tarot land, is definitely in red pill and blue pill, and is in poly amorous, is out here when it comes to these things, right? A free will is a discussion. Freedom of some such is a discussion. The thing is that was interesting, as Wi-Fi debates continue, and this is what I'm talking about, our perception, how we actually perceive things, how we are already part of something while we looking for something to be answered and can't see that it's part of what we already in, because it's actually a level. It's a level of comprehension and understanding that you trying to strive for, and it's just before you, and you trying to figure out why you so blind. I'm just now thinking of it to this point too. We had a conversation. So, if you know, you say, "Fi, what do fi got to do with free?" Well, first of all, it got something to do with the pronunciation. It's only fi because, one, your mind been trained to Wi-Fi. Your mind has also been trained for FI to be for information. It has been into abbreviated form, right? But yet, in the foundation and the root of language, we became fixed among nations in language and pronunciation. You got your vowels, right? So then you got Y. That's the best part of vowels. A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y. Right? Why? I mean, but then you got Nintendo that got it for Wii. And they made it Wii by putting an extra I. But if we looking at it, we say Wi-Fi. So how, don't get me wrong, how do they talk to us again? How do you talk? Like, Wi-Fi. And it's free. How many people right now are, if you feeling what I'm trying to say, how many places have you been around that we need to fight for free access for all? But then on the bright side, in the midst of all the wrong, all these movements, all these freedom fight things, and you go home for that day, and if you had to have a discussion about death, you put everybody just about who done made you mad in your lifetime in one or two categories: heaven or hell. So despite the midst of it, right, you still boil down to one category out of all the communication that you have in the world, all the assets that you have in the world. At the end of the day, you still go back to the root. If you judging situations that's under the thing of death and wondering where somebody is, you go to heaven and hell. Still have a crossroad. What make your brain crossroad into that pathway? The same thing that make your brain cross over in that pathway is the same reason why your brain either going to have you understand what I just said about free will and Wi-Fi going backwards, and answering the questions of what is real and how we do talk. And all of it goes back to the perception. The interpretation of the perception. which goes back to what I said. You have a regular conversation. You always go back to the same two options, heaven or hell. And it's abbreviated Wi-Fi. Oh man. Hope I done got y'all thinking in this first 15 minutes introduction. Thank you for coming past Virginia Reaper. Yes, this is Miss Peaches with Mr. Call at the same time. Thank you all for coming past and visiting. So let's get into now bringing in May 22nd, right? Yes, May 22nd. So basically, that intro is all about, if you have any questions to help one part of it out, what questions you got? If you couldn't understand, my intro was all about, let's keep it going, because you're only going to perceive what you need to perceive no matter what. Okay, if you can't, let's go ahead and just get into it anyway. So this time around, the way I got this layout, okay, I included the zodiac energy. I want to talk to it from that point of view this time around. I'm going to still talk about the aspects. Okay, I am. I'm going to talk about the aspects, but I'm going to talk about the zodiacs at the same time. Okay, to interpret this energy to hopefully prepare all of us for it, including myself. I want to be able to hear myself while I'm even trying to talk to y'all and interpret the energy at the same time. So I hope you enjoy it with me. So I'm focusing on the sun. Alright. So the sun gonna be in Gemini. Alright. And during this time that is in Gemini, while we have the other cards here, let's talk about them. We're going to have the sun trine with the lovely moon, and the moon will be with the zodiac Libra. Okay. We have the sun squaring with the lovely Jupiter, and that would be with the zodiac sign Pisces. We also have the sun trine with Pluto, and that is with the lovely zodiac sign Capricorn to the front stage. Now at the same time, we have the sun in conjunct with the North Node, and North Node is with Gemini. We have the sun that's conjunct with Lilith, and Lilith is with Taurus. Okay? So, let's talk about it. What is Gemini to anybody? Me, Gemini is nothing but a damn zodiac sign. The month and the days in the month count more to me than what zodiac energy we in. That's for me. What is it for you? Because Gemini is that double theory. It's a double theory. The way I introduce a double theory. What is the double theory theme that's here? Okay? Now, one interesting part while we're talking about Gemini, the records is showing the North Node in retrograde and with Gemini. So hold up. We got the North Node retrograde and you sharing Gemini. So really, this energy is saying, gotta be quicker than that. Clap on, clap off. The clap on, the clap off. Clap on. It is. For example, some tarot readers, if you have blank spots during this little period of time, you just might hide it. Why are you having it? Because they want you to. It's a side effect of the clap on, clap off. Other people, memory problems. It's a great time. What I mean, I have efforts for some people to be standing their ground because This is the thing about standing your ground. Your weakness is going to be determined within the conversation. The influence that someone will have is going to be so recognizable. Don't get mad because you was late on recognizing it. Don't get mad. Take it. Could it be for some people easier for me to say than you even want to entertain? Of course. Why? Because, just like I started off, we're in a Wi-Fi world, babe. We're in a Wi-Fi world. It is all about the connectivity in it. It's the connection. Okay? It's all about it. No matter what. No matter who got the best story, who got the best style, who has been known to be that healer, who has reached the mountaintop, who has went through the longest valley, who then shivered themselves out of hypothermia and didn't even know why. It don't matter the miracle and the amount of money that's going on. It just don't matter. It just don't matter. It matters to us. It matters. It matters to us because they got a story to tell. They got an agenda that they want to have happen. That's power. You can never avoid the influence of power. You need power to survive. No matter how many people is off the grid, how many generators are they putting? Like, okay, y'all off the grid, but you still putting in a whole full kitchen, dishwasher and everything. Power. Look at it. It is so obvious all around the power that's in Wi-Fi. Just the point of getting to the word millennials. Millennials are so important because probably some researcher talking about we live in our last days. We got a book that we will body shame our people with. That talk about the last days, and we about to resurrect the last days, and we need to enter in with Generation Z. Are we really trying to take ourselves out? I think we need to add on Generation Millennial. And we need to put that eternity there so they don't understand that we went back to eternity. Because Z would have just got us cut off. And I wasn't ready for no cutoff. Perception. See, with the North Node there, you don't have to be focused on why millennial seems so important and why they could drain this energy was off of that fear. But you could feel the fear from the pandemic because you're not focused on the millennium except their actions, that you don't realize that it was beyond their actions because they adapted a behavior. I'm just saying. Which brings me over to which one do we want to go to now? Let's talk about the moon and Libra around this time. Now, the last time I did my video, I ain't see nothing going on for Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, or Leo. But the moon is definitely transiting through it. And because it got a 2-day battle, I was already at May the 26th. They was already done, about to be done, because then Libra was on the 26th is about to go to Scorpio. And then it's about to start back over. And that 2-day cycle kind of thing is going on here for the, the moon. You feel me? So I'm getting a kind of glimpse of when I did the moon reading, right? Of where justice is, because I felt justice, but I ain't see justice. So I wanted to go here to, when we talking about where I done been at with the recordings and connectivity, I'm telling you that Wi-Fi, boy, that Wi-Fi, that Wi-Fi, boy, that Wi-Fi. That Wi-Fi, man. That Wi-Fi, it costs. And let me get into it on the spiritual. Let's talk about the gossip for a minute. Because I'm in the United States and Jesus is strong, boy. So let's get into it, you know. Malachi, in the Bible even talk, ain't nobody gonna be better than my son. What? So the 22nd, right? What the North Node in retrograde. We believe retrograde go backwards. See, if you believe it's gonna go backwards, you can perceive something the way you need to perceive it. Me, retrograde just mean they can't catch up with the design that's going on. They can't catch up with the movement. Okay? Because like I say, is they going retrograde or is it the earth? Everybody got to decide on what story that they want to tell. So this is my story because I don't believe in backwards. I do believe that Jake moving. I do believe he ain't keeping up with it. But I appreciate you telling me there's a period that I ain't keeping up with it. Got you. Need other people to understand it a different way so they can feel comfortable and secure about their NASA affiliates and all those ones that's teaching them something. That's what's up. But I'm sorry, that Wi-Fi is changing that whole thing. See, that's the beautiful part about North Node being in retrograde. Because you got a choice on whether you're going to see it. Especially right now, by the 22nd, you're really going to have a nice little choice. You are. Because the moon going to shine it. And then you got Lilith, right? That's in conjunction with Taurus. So we leaving out the Taurus season. And if you really want to think of things going backwards, well, the Sun in Gemini, the Lilith is in Taurus. You got it. It's not going to discriminate on the way that it wants you to think, because the point is they got an agenda. They know which way you're going to think. Wi-Fi. That's why certain people on certain platforms, that's why people talk about certain people on platforms. You see the segregation in just the platforms alone. So you already guilty in one sense. You already proved you got enough common sense. So are you proving you being worse? I'm asking for an answer. And eventually they just like, okay, I get it. They really believe in hell. Because, you know, a lot of people describe hell always with some repetition. Like heaven don't have neither. I'm just trying to say, it gives you, because of those choices of it and the pre-programming, just like Eddie Griffin joke had one time, I don't mean no harm, but kids come out with a certain kind of fear for their parents. And that fear alone teaches us we born with enough common sense of right and wrong. Now we have that free will to judge and to apply and to test our theories on what is right or wrong. So that's how Taurus work. You have whatever is already needed. The Lilith. So now let's get over here to Jupiter. Let's talk about it. It's in Pisces. That's the extra energy to prove the point. It's the extra energy to prove the point. But what point is the point to be proven? And who is really the one evaluating? Or how many is evaluating? And on what level can you reach that consciousness of evaluation? And are you going to let it stress you out to get to a certain consciousness of evaluation when you still living? If you meant to do something well, then you should have that true conviction in your heart. So how hard do you got to search? I'm just playing devil's advocate. Or am I? It's your choice to decide, but it's an easy term to put in the middle of this. And the last one is Pluto with Capricorn, and Pluto, what? Supposed to be retrograde. The records show Pluto retrograde with Capricorn. So, how comfortable are you? See, this is where the comfortability comes in. So you could be looking whether it's somebody going to walk up to you, whether it's your co-worker. But, you know, if you already got co-worker issues now, and then the comfortability, it might just be your distraction. And the other situation, especially with the North Node, is in retrograde with Gemini. What is really your distraction is what's making you feel comfortable. And you just picky, maybe just picky about who's in your group without you realizing you have that Wi-Fi connection. And even if you're the type of person that say, I don't participate in social media, well, that should be enough proof you getting cranky because you don't want them to participate in your social media. But they just real live and you can't see the difference of the platform. But then you can find their profile picture and still can't connect the dots like Wi-Fi because maybe you got your own private service. And you ain't hijacking nobody Wi-Fi. So because you ain't jacking nobody Wi-Fi, you can't see all this connected in the Wi-Fi. Yasum, you know? Some people ask me, Miss Peaches, what you gonna do with that philosophy degree? Hey, babes. Do y'all got that answer yet? Because I be philosophizing. I really do. I floss in this energy. Got to. But I'm saying, this is just all coming up better 22nd. You know, I'm trying to keep it focused. Because these could be some things. Does the 22nd make a difference? Well, that's a number 9. 522. That's a number 9. Then we got a number 5. Then we got a number... What? Then that's going to total to what? A 14 going on there, right? And then we're going to back up and we're going to finish out at a 5. Okay, so what's 14 up in here? Is that the Temperance card? And number 14, is that a little bit of the Temperance right there? Huh? We got a little bit of Temperance. So then we got a 5, so let's think about it. Now don't get me wrong, 15 come after 14, and that kind of got the devil. Now, don't get me wrong, like 3 5s can make up that 15, so it's not like it won't be telling you it's getting trapped. Oh damn, we got that Capricorn right there, right? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just saying, but then we could have 5, right? And that could take us to the half fight. So what do you feel when it comes to the Hierophant? Is that you building this establishment, or is it that you already established and want no change to be made and you weren't really part of the storm, but you chose to come out of your house, which is your own opinion, and you chose to take those steps? Now, 1, 2, 3 usually mean that you're out, right? 1, 2, 3, you know. Usually by the time you get to that 3, you kind of up in a foul zone, you're out. Something kind of going wrong, you know. You don't get too many technicals, because, you know, those technicals could really damage you in the game. I think you're almost about 1 away from having to be put out the game, depending on how bad the technicals is. You know, so what is the penalty on it? I think maybe football might got the most lenient ones when it comes to a little bit of it, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, you really only get those 3 downs, right? The 4th one is just judgment time, you know what I'm saying? So that 3 is kind of imperative. Like I said before, what you gonna chase? I'm not here to tell you not to chase. If that's what the feeling in the spirit is coming to you at that moment, hey, I ain't around you. My information will be in the description bar if you need my help. Surely will. You know what I'm saying? It'll be there. But no, other than that, I mean, we can break this down in many ways, you know what I'm saying? So you got the 9, so you know that 9 is a little bit of cuspid. Now, which way? Now that 9 fluctuates a little bit up in the tarot deck. Sometimes it's the Hangman, sometimes it's just Justice card. Some people put different things there, so I don't know, you know, I guess because that 9 and that 6 be playing games, so that's why they always try to play it a little bit too. Even that 10 a little bit shaking, and that number 11 too. It just depends on whoever want to make those decks. But a lot of times they keep that 14 and that 15 about the same. And the number 13. Do you ever pay attention to that rhyme of reason that come around a little bit after justice? So they try to balance everything out after the Justice card in the tarot. You feel what I'm saying? So, I hope y'all do. Okay? You know? So, it's only 4 days from the full moon and the lunar eclipse. I think I did pretty good. Being a little bit in the middle, you know. I think I needed to see this from that message that I did as far as the lunar eclipse and stuff. So they give me that connectivity right now. I got to pay attention to detail. Whoever is willing to pay attention to, I just hope it all help y'all out. Now I'll be back around doing the situation reading. Until then, good luck to you, all right?